Hey there, welcome back. It's Kyle, and today is Thursday, July 25th, 2024. And yes, you read that title correctly. We are down to 50 days until our trip. 50 days. But it puts me at a quandary. Tomorrow is 49 days, which is 7 weeks on the nose. But today is 50 days, which is a nice round number. So which number is better? I'm having a hard time deciding, but I'm leaning towards 49 because it's smaller. But you let me know what you think. Is 49 or 50 the more round number for you? One is an even number of weeks. The other one is just a random but even number of days total. Again, I'm going with 49 because I like the smaller number better. It means we're that much closer to the trip. That being said, as I always do, I spend a lot of my free time watching YouTube videos regarding cruising and cruise newses and people's experiences with cruising. And I stumbled across a video today of a couple going on their very first cruise. And it made me chuckle. I'll get to why in a second. But it also made me think. I still very vividly remember my first cruise. And I'm not talking my first cruise with my family. My very first cruise was back when I was in high school, way back around 2000. We took a short, like 8-hour cruise to get from Florida to the Bahamas and then back once the week was over. And that was absolutely amazing. Every cruise I've ever been on has been absolutely amazing. Not perfect by any means, but absolutely amazing still. And I would never dream of not going cruising again. This couple documented their very first time going on a cruise ever. And when they booked the cruise, they didn't really research it that much. And then it was after they booked the cruise, while they were waiting for the cruise to come, that one of them actually started researching. And they found out that they had ended up booking themselves on the worst rated cruise ship out there. And now, I have not verified it. I do not know if it's literally the worst rated cruise ship or if it's just like one of the worst rated. But they made it sound like it was the worst rated cruise ship. And then they went about going on the cruise. And the video that I watched was only the first day-ish of the cruise. And they ended up with mixed feelings about it. One of them was very open to trying other cruises because she did not have that bad of a time. And she went with the mindset that if this is the worst cruise, then how nice are the best cruises if she still had this amount of enjoyment from the worst cruise. The male half, he was ready to get off the cruise and they still had days to go. But here comes why I think it's funny, and it's also something that I want you to keep in mind. When you are cruising, or when you're doing anything, some of the experiences you encounter are the location, the staff, or the company's fault. Some of the issues you encounter are your own fault. And some of the issues you encounter are the fault of other people in the area, or in the case of a cruise, on the cruise with you, or at port with you, that sort of stuff. And then there's stuff that's nobody's fault, it's out of anybody's control, like nature, weather-related stuff. Of those, you can really only control the stuff that you can control. In the case of cruises, there's some things that the cruise company and staff on board can control, but there's some stuff that's out of their control. And we're going to focus on complaining about things that are not the cruise company's fault, but your own fault, and why you should not hold your own mistakes against the cruise company or the cruise ship, in this particular case, against the cruise company. Sometimes you have to go, hey, if I had not been stupid, I would have had a better time. This guy decided he wanted to document everything that was going on the cruise for embarkation. Embarkation, if you're not familiar, is the getting on the cruise ship on the very first day to start your cruise. So they started off by making a mistake that I would say the cruise line is partially responsible for, but I don't know the exact setup that was going on. So it very well could have been none of the cruise line's fault, but I'll give the passengers the benefit of the doubt and say the cruise line is partially responsible for it. They went to get on the cruise ship and went past everything that they were supposed to do to get on the cruise ship, to get like their documents, their key cards, all that stuff, and went straight to get on the cruise ship, to find out that they needed all that stuff, had to turn around, walk all the way back, get the stuff, and then go back on the ship again. So this is somewhere over around Europe. It was fairly hot out, they said, and you could watch them walk pretty much the entire length of the cruise ship for the first part, with a baby strapped to the mom's chest, pushing a stroller, and then the guy hauling the luggage. Walked all the way the length of the cruise ship to get on the cruise ship. This is not like a port that I'm used to, where you go through a cruise terminal. This looked like just a big ship that pulled up alongside a big open dock outside. So everybody's walking around outside. They tried to get on, had to walk all the way back to the other end of the cruise ship, go through the line, and then all the way back again in the heat with all that stuff. So of course, by the time they got on, they were super tired and super hot from being out in the heat and doing all that extra walking that was completely unnecessary had they gone through the right process. Again, part of that could have been on the cruise line for not making that more obvious where you needed to go, but a lot of that falls on the people for not going to the correct spot. But that's not the funny part. The funny part is embarkation day is when everybody, literally thousands of people, are getting on the ship at the same time. And when you get on the ship, the very first thing people want to do is go up to the different decks to like get food, or in some cases go to their room. You board the ship on one deck, and then everything you want to do tends to be on another deck. So everybody stands and waits for the closest elevator. There are more than one bank of elevators on most cruise ships, including the ship that they were on. But they decided to just stand and wait at the single bank of elevators, and wait and wait and wait for, according to them, 15 minutes before the wife with the baby finally was able to squeeze onto an elevator. And then he decided he wasn't going to wait anymore and was just going to haul all the luggage himself up 8 flights of stairs to a level 8 levels up from whatever deck they loaded on. All right. So First mistake there, just walk down halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way of the ship to the other bank of elevators that is a lot less busy, because everybody's at that first bank of elevators. But if you're a first-time cruiser, you may not know that that's an option. So I'm not going to hold that against him either. What I am going to hold against him is what he did next. He decided he was going to film the process of him carrying the luggage up those 8 flights of stairs. Can you guess where this is going? Probably not. I missed it until he told his wife a little bit of a tidbit of information at the very end of this part of the video. He said, okay, I have to go back down a flight to get the rest of the luggage because I cannot carry it all when I'm recording. So what he was doing was recording himself going up a flight of stairs with some of the luggage and leaving the rest of the luggage at whatever floor he started on, get up to the top of that next flight, stop recording, go down, pick up the rest of the luggage because he wanted to make sure he was recording himself going up the flights. Instead of stopping recording and just carrying everything up in one go, he would go up a flight, drop some off, go back down a flight, pick up the rest, then go back up the flight again to repeat the process for 8 different flights. Going up 8 flights of stairs with luggage, going up 8 flights of stairs in general is going to suck. Going up 8 flights of stairs when you just got done walking a significant length in the sun and waiting in line is going to suck even more. Especially when you are hungry, want to get to whatever food or room you have available for you. Doing all that while carrying 2 people and a baby's worth of luggage by yourself is going to suck even more. But making it extra hard on yourself by recording and forcing yourself to have to go up, down, up for every flight of stairs instead of just up for the flight of stairs is an extra level of pain and suffering that was not needed to be added and is in no way the cruise company or the cruise ship's fault. You cannot pass that blame on to the cruise ship or the cruise company. That's all on you, bud. So, needless to say, he did not have a very good first impression on that cruise ship. Again, yes, if he would have got on the elevator, it would have been a lot smoother. But there were other elevators he could have used. I won't fault him for that. Even though technically that's his fault. He should have known what he was doing. Research it a little bit before you get on the ship for the very first time. You want to know what you're doing. But the stairs, that is all him. And when I heard that, I literally laughed because that's not something that most people are going to have to deal with at all. But just the fact that you made it harder on yourself and then highlighted the fact that you made it harder on yourself while complaining about how hard it was, that's hilarious to me. But yeah, so with that being said, I'm going to give you a piece of advice for those of you who have never gone on a cruise before. And if you're still relatively new to cruising, this piece of advice will still ring true to you and hopefully you'll find it helpful. Whatever cruise ship you are going on, weeks in advance, heck, months in advance, go online and find the layout of the cruise ship. Most of the time, they'll call this like the ship deck plan. So like I'm going on the Carnival Sunrise. I have the Carnival Sunrise deck plan. I actually have it saved on my phone so that I can reference where anything on the ship is and where it's at in relationship to my cabin. And when you do that, you definitely want to pay attention to where your cabin is, where the closest set of stairs and or elevators are, and where the things of interest to you are on the ship. So you can kind of get an idea, even before you get on the ship, of where you're going and how you're going to get from point A to point B. Some ships, this is way more important than others. There are some ships where certain floors don't go all the way from the front of the ship to the back of the ship, the forward of the ship to the aft of the ship. There are some decks that you can't get across from port to starboard or starboard to port, or sometimes you can't go all the way forward on the port side or all the way forward on the starboard side. Every ship is built a little bit differently. So you need to know in advance about what to expect so you can go in and have the smoothest move-in period. So definitely do that in advance. And alongside that, almost every cruise line, you can go on YouTube, which you're already on right now, and find a walkthrough of the cruise ship that you're on. And you want it to be as new of a walkthrough as you can get, because ships will frequently go into what they call a dry dock and get like remodels done. And while most of the time that doesn't make any significant changes to like layouts or anything, it could actually cause different restaurants to be added in place of other restaurants or different things like that. In some cases, it completely changes the ship. The ship I'm on, the Sunrise, used to be a different ship, called a different ship name, but it had issues years ago. You can look up the Poop Cruise and you'll learn all about that. That is the ship we are on. Exciting, right? But it changes, and they did extensive remodeling after that, and now it's got a completely different look and feel to it. And then it just got out of dry dock again a couple months ago, where it got another nice little refresh, and some things got updated then too. So do that as well. That'll help give you an actual visual of what you expect to see when you get on the ship. If you're doing some of the newer, more exciting, bigger ships, or any Disney ship, because Disney is crazy. The Disney fans are absolute fanatics, and I say that because I am one myself. You can almost always find a room review for the actual stateroom that you are in, which is fun as well, because then you know exactly what you're getting into with your room. Lots of the older ships, it's harder to find, even though they've been around longer, but it's people don't tend to document on the cheaper cruises as much as they do on the newer, more exciting cruises, just because back when those ships came out, YouTube wasn't really a thing. And then once YouTube became a thing, cruise documentation and cruise vlogging didn't really catch on until relatively recently. And since cruise vlogging has caught on, the new and exciting ships are the ones that get all the attention, because that's what people are most interested in when they're looking at new and exciting things on YouTube. Most people aren't looking at a cruise ship review from 20 years ago or for a cruise ship from 20 years ago. Some are, don't get me wrong, there are a bunch, but compared to like Utopia of the Seas, that's going to get way more views than the Carnival Sunrise. And the cruise vloggers focus on that more. When it comes to the world of Disney, that's a whole nother ballgame, because again, Disney people are just a whole nother breed, and they go all out, myself included. So pretty much any Disney ship will have absolutely every inch of that ship well documented, and any changes that happen on there is well documented. Every restaurant, every meal in those restaurants, anything about a Disney ship you could want to know, you can find on YouTube for sure. And that'll be especially true December this year when the Treasure comes out, the Treasure, and then next year when the Destiny comes out and the Adventure come out. You can be assured that there will be tons of documentation on that. But I will be doing some documentation of the Carnival Sunrise. So keep an eye open for that. I'm excited. It won't be like hardcore or anything like that, but I do want to show our cruise cabin because I could not find any good videos online of that, and that didn't make me happy because I wanted to see my room and I couldn't, so I don't want other people to miss out on that. So I'm going to document that, and that'll be fun. So yeah, but this video has been going on for over 21 minutes. I actually found something to talk about, and it was fun for me. So hopefully you got something out of it too. But it's going to take me forever to get processed so I can upload it, which sucks because it's already after 9:30 and past my bedtime. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, 50 days. And I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.